Hey everybody, welcome to the second installment and final video of 2022. This is the Perfume Roundup December 2022 edition. Oh my god. It's been such a long time, you guys, but this has been a really long time coming. Thank you again to everyone who supports me on Patreon. Seriously, it's so amazing that this year I've actually been able to do these videos full time for the first time. I've been able to commit to this craft in a new way that I haven't been able to before, and it hasn't been easy. So it's been a really wonderful journey. So thank you so much for being on it with me, and I can't thank you enough. So this video is heavily inspired by a dupe haul from this brand Dossier. It's being advertised a lot, I think, on TikTok and stuff. And I think it is a really interesting cultural moment because historically dupes have been the territory of like Walgreens, kind of, is what I associate it with. But this brand is doing like parade branding, like the underwear brand that like sent a bunch of people stuff. Like it's doing like that kind of, or like a WeWork kind of thing, Or like what's the makeup brand that everyone like? Glossier. Oh, which is interesting because the name is almost the exact same in spelling. So I got a big haul because they're having this crazy sale around Christmas. And I got 6 like full bottles for like $100, and they do free returns and everything. So I just figured if I didn't like any of them, I would just send them back. And it's kind of tricky because if you go on Fragrantica, which is like Letterboxd for perfumes, a lot of them have really mixed reviews. And on like Reddit, like Our Fragrance, I think it's called, a lot of them have like very, very bad reviews. People do not like them. But I will start with the non-dupes first. I'll talk about the samples first, which is what I did last time. I'm going to start off this video with what has been my favorite scent this fall so far, which is Whiskey 1969 by Thin Wild Mercury. Sydney Scora gave me this sample, and as you can see, I almost totally used it. This has been like my favorite fragrance. If I was going to, what was that? If I was going to buy a full-size bottle, it would probably be this one, but I'm not sure. Not really in a place right now where I'm really thinking about buying a full-size bottle of perfume, but if I would, it would be this one. And yeah, it's a very like sexy, exciting, kind of sleazy perfume that has kind of like what I would describe as like animalic amber. It's definitely one of the more sexual perfumes I have in my repertoire. I like to layer it with a more basic rose to kind of give it an edge of refinement if I'm feeling like I want to really layer things on. But it's also very like complex and complete on its own, much like myself. And yeah, so that's everything on this one. And then the other one I have here is a classic Gucci Bloom. This I got from my mom, and I have it in my collection, and I'm happy to have it in my collection because it's Sydney Scora's perfume, and it's just a beautiful jasmine. This perfume is the reason that I think of Sydney when I get a jasmine milk tea, for instance, which is a flavor that I like to get. And it's beautiful. It's classic. Like, not much more you can say about that one. This is a new one. I don't have notes about this one. I just found this recently. It was in my drawer. This is the Tom Ford Ombre Leather sample. This, I was a little surprised by how basic this one was. It kind of reminds me of like, just like Macy's like male cologne area. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely very leathery. I feel like all these like a lot of these dupes I have here are, I think, the reason that like people wouldn't like these or wouldn't think that these would be a worthy purchase is because they're very one note or have a very simple profile. And that's honestly kind of how I feel about this one, which is surprising because it's Tom Ford, but I have to be honest, like I think like my nose palette is a lot more refined to feminine and like floral fragrances. So I think when I start to get into more masculine scents, I can't always pick up on differences as well, or I can't always form like, I can't see the full range of scent there. So now for the dupes. Um, most of these I'm very intimately familiar with the inspiration, so I can attest if they are good replicas or not. But I bought 3 of these not knowing what the originals were, and 2 of those I returned, so they're already gone. And the first of those was Joe Malone's Wood Sage and Sea Salt, which I returned because it was very simple and clean, and very unremarkable. It almost smelled like Clinique Happy to me, which is not a scent that I really love. Um, I'm mixed on Jo Malone. I don't know a ton of Jo Malone fragrances. I love their Poppy and Barley, but this one, the dupe at least, was a miss for me, so I returned it. And then there's another one which was a dupe of the Maison Margiela's replica Jazz Club, which I bought because I thought it would be similar to Whiskey 1969. And it was just way too smoky for me in like a campfire way, which obviously there's nothing wrong with the smell of a campfire, but if you know me, you know I can be very finicky about being around fires because I don't like it when my hair smells smoky. So this was not a match for me, and I returned this one as well. And the other thing you need to keep in mind about these fragrances is the ciliage, I believe is the way that you pronounce that word, which is the term for how long it stays on your skin, I think. Um, the ciliage is not very good. They do not last for a very long time, but when you spray them right away, they are like almost overwhelmingly strong in a way that's almost like painful and will give you a headache. Um, so both of those together is really not good, but that's kind of the price of admission when you're dealing with dupes, I guess. Um, so yeah, and the other 4 that I ordered from Dossier I kept. And the first one is this one, which is Ambery Tuberose, which is a dupe of Diptyque's Dew Sun, which I've never smelled the original, but I got this because I love tuberose. Another favorite fragrance of mine, which was the winner of the last perfume roundup in March, is Frederic Mallet's Carnal Flower, which is very tuberose heavy and also a little jasmine-y. And I wanted to keep this one because it's like straight tuberose, and it's a very cheap alternative to the other one. The Frederic Mallet perfumes are very expensive. I don't think I'm going to buy a full one. I bought their Discovery Kit, which is a pretty good price for a Discovery Kit, but now my samples are all pretty much gone, and I don't think I'm going to buy the full size one. Maybe. I'm not sure. I haven't decided. And then this is called Gourmand Patchouli, which is a dupe of Mugler's Angel, which is famously my grandmother's perfume. And this is a very loyal dupe. I've been spraying my bed sheets with it at night. Which I think out of all 4 of these, the other 3 are like very like one note, one's the top scent. And this is probably like the most impressive technically because it's like the most complicated scent, and this is like this is a very like faithful adaptation of it. And then next, oh, actually that might not be true because this is Ambery Saffron, which is a dupe of the Baccarat Rouge 540, which is it's a very famous perfume. That also Ariana Grande's Cloud is supposed to be a dupe of, and I still haven't smelled Ariana Grande's Cloud because there was a while where it was selling out, like from CVS and stuff. and that was like a really cute bottle, I guess. But I like Baccarat Rouge, but I don't think it's definitely, I would never pay full price for it. I don't think it's really all that big of a deal, and now I think it's kind of overdone. You know, it's like everyone kind of knows about it, but and it's like it's very like chemically, mechanically sweet, which I like. I do like the smell, and I think this is a pretty good dupe. I would say Amber Saffron. Yeah, and then the last one I'm going to talk about is also, I know in the last one I took up a lot of airtime talking about Le Labo and the vice grip they have, um, particularly Santal and Rose, and how I have conflicted feelings about those scents because, like, I did wear them for so long, and I do want to keep wearing them, and I do think those are really amazing scents, but they are so basic, and like, I had an incident in the fall, or I don't know when it was, but when there was someone I knew who I thought was wearing Rose 31, and I said to her like, "Oh, are you wearing Rose 31 right now?" And she was like, "Yeah," and like she like got really uncomfortable, and I was like, "I'm sorry, like I just thought I recognized your perfume," and she was like, "That actually made me really uncomfortable." And I was like, "Okay, I don't know, I just recognized the smell. I don't know." So this dupe is Floral Rose, and it's a dupe of Le Labo's Rose 31, and this is what I've been wearing. I spray it quite liberally. I just spray it all over. It's a straight, good rose. It's definitely not as complicated as Le Labo, um, but it's also not just a simple rose either. Like, rose is a favorite scent. Obviously, it's classic. It's like, you know, like a great smell. Um, but yeah, this is good perfume and it gets the job done. So as for the brand, the Dossier brand, the bottles I have here, I give it 2 thumbs up. These are all probably, they seem like one of those brands that like constantly has a sale. So I think you can get all of these for like $25 each, which is really good for the like full size you're getting, and you know it's still small enough to take on an airplane, which is what I'm going to be doing soon. So that's something that in my life is important to me. So these are the new perfumes that entered my life lately. This has been a really strange year with a lot of strange like life changes, and with significant life changes, it's often necessary to switch up your perfume repertoire. So I encourage you all to do the same. If any of these piqued your interest, I would encourage you to buy it because the returns for this website are very easy. But I think what I'm going to do with this series going forward is I need to do one like high-end video a year, and that was what my March one was for. And if you didn't get a chance to see my March one, it is unlisted on my YouTube channel, just because I talked about a lot of people in my life in that video, and I'm going to need to screen a reviewer to see if I can trust them with certain information, even now at this point. So that was like my high-end video, and then I think I like doing this like bringing the dupes and doing the samples and stuff into it because it's kind of like high-low. Yeah, so that's going to conclude this video. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, follow me on my social media, follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and thank you so much if you are supporting my Patreon. I really appreciate it. It's, you know, what keeps me going. And if you're not, I would encourage you to consider making a donation. So thanks so much. Bye.